former Marines, as I see. All right. You know why today's such a great day? Everybody know? They're playing baseball down in Tampa.
Spring training.
So this guy's favorite ball team out of the Bronx is they're starting their run at 28. It's a big deal. Listen, thank you all for joining us. As we say, a promotion is not indicative of the things that you've done, but the things that we believe you have the potential to do and contribute. This jump from the from the company grade into the field grade is a big deal. It is a huge deal, and it's such a big deal that we ought to take a moment to reflect on it. There's obviously increased responsibility, but being in a field grade brings just a whole different way of looking and thinking at your contributions to the institution. I remember that one of the first things that you do is you get handed a series of tasks that just carry the enormity of that increased responsibility, a reflection of that. And it was here in this building when I had that happen to me, and I remember that I looked up one day and it was 2,200, and my ass was still here, and my then fiance had already been calling hospitals and police departments to find out what was wrong. But you assume that and you take it on in a very gratified sense. My point is, you feel that burden, but you embrace it because it's indicative of who you are. And that's what we all need to kind of keep in mind. This is a unique Marine here. I'm going to take a couple of minutes here to just talk to you a little bit about him if you don't know. These things need to be sort of put in perspective when we promote a Marine like this. And it's my honor, honestly, Jose, for you to have asked me to promote you. It's awesome. You and I are New Yorkers. The guy gets an instant 10 in my book. Boom! Right there. Both New Yorkers. And out of one of the 5 boroughs where my dad had me go with him every day into the Bronx to do some business with him. I was like 8 because he didn't want to get that $300 ticket back in the day. It's probably like upwards of $800 now for double parking, right? So my dad would take me because I was a better mannequin than some of his mannequins. But growing up in the Bronx, growing up in New York City does a lot of, I think, amazing things to you. It's the biggest small town in America, but it also hones and sharpens your skills in a lot of different ways. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Absolutely. Absolutely. That place teaches you to eat life rather than be eaten by it. It teaches you when to be aggressive, how to be tolerant, how to respect people for their different views, their different upbringings. And diversity is often an overused word, but man oh man, you get it in a big way up there. Dealing with a Marine that comes from a place like that, to me, is a big deal. We're both Paris Island Marines, and Paris Island just, I actually would never want to say I was a San Diego Marine, Hollywood Marine. So good on you. But we both went to Camp Johnson after that time at Paris Island. Different time for him, just slightly. But Jose did that. And then what Jose's got on a lot of us is, as he ascended through the ranks, he did it in a pretty rapid fashion as a motor T operator, and then later on as a staff NCO, all the way up to the rank of gunnery sergeant. And then, on his own accord, on his own time, he earned a dual master's degree in political science and criminal justice. I mean, phenomenal. When it came time to me, and someone who mentored me and said, "Hey, you got to go do this stuff after graduate school," I was like, "Roger that. When's that application for Monterey coming out?" Because there was just no way I was going to do that kind of stuff on my own accord, my own time. And so when you meet someone who does that on their own accord and on their own initiative, you're really getting somebody there. So you deployed as a gunny into Iraq, is that right? Standard ops. Get back, you're commissioned through ECP, and then you go back out again into OEF, am I right, in Afghanistan. as a command and control officer. And the things that you gotta realize is, what you guys are working on. I remember working on here when I was back. We called it, just SCNI. But that C4 afloat integration stuff is a real. I mean, talk about a meaningful way when you're out there and an ATF rallies and you're falling in on somewhere like Shuaibah, the port of Shuaibah in Kuwait. On a pre-post ship or on via air, that's one thing. When you're coming in on an ATF, that's a completely different, magnitude of a problem. And I remember in 1994 when somebody threw a CD disc at me and said, "Hey, this is the new version of Atlas or SASE. You guys you're gonna do great." And it was somebody from this building who was fielding a new version of that supply system with a CD. And he said, "There's an awesome README text file on there. Check it out. I'll tell you all you need to know." And we went to war with that, and that's on SAT. And the way that we integrated was with a soldering gun, some soldering wire, a 9.6 baud modem, and a card that allowed us to essentially download data off of a Inmarsat terminal. That's not right, because when we needed it the most, we didn't have connectivity. And as we know, a lot of mules learn and relearn that stuff. And you're working in ground zero where we're trying to make it all happen. So as a major now, we're gonna ask you to do more of that, and then some. And what you do, your follow-on tour here after Monterey, I think will be reflective of that. It'll be reflective of the opinions the Marine Corps holds you, Jose, and all the things that you've done with your fellow Marines here, and the civilians that you've worked with here at the command. I'm very proud of you. I think you got a lot to contribute, and I think you're going to do great. And I wish you well with the added responsibilities. So with that, we're going to start with we'll administer the oath first,
Sir.
and then we'll go through and read the promotion board, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jose Gonzalez,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
on the office
on the office
of which I am about to enter.
of which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You're welcome. So you can start.
How yourself and Coach Fire, sir.
Okay, Herb, please join me. Let's say I'm in there, Herb.
I was gonna say, back in the good old days. Back in the good
Yeah.
Sir? All right, yeah, that's the official. With the column, I can't remember which. That. It is a column, it's a change. I'm going to get back to the other things. That's the change. Yeah, just old.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Please, everyone. Hey, help me congratulate the newest major in the Marine Corps. Now, before we turn the floor over to him, we have one more, I think, certificate to announce.
Read the warrants.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The reading of the warrant. Hey, I'm sorry. Everybody, bear with me. Go ahead.
Attention orders. To all who shall see these presents greeting, know ye that reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Jose Gonzalez, I do by and with the consent of the Senate appoint this officer a major in the United States Marine Corps, to rank as such from the first day of February 2018. This officer will therefore carefully and diligently discharge the duties of the office to which appointed, by doing and performing all manner of things thereunto belonging. And I do strictly charge and require those officers and other personnel of lesser rank to render such obedience as is due an officer of this grade and position. and this officer is to observe and follow orders and directions from time to time as may be given by the President of the United States of America or other superior officers acting in accordance with the laws of the United States of America. This commission is to continue in force during the pleasure of the President of the United States of America under the provisions of those public laws relating to officers of the armed forces of the United States of America and the component thereof in which this appointment is made. Done at the City of Washington this first day of February in the year of our Lord 2018 and of the independence of the United States of America, the 242nd, by the President, Robert B. Neller.
You got that, so it's true. Okay, so everyone please stand at ease. Congratulations, get this photo.
Okay, so your,
Want it open?
yes, please. Perfect.
Caitlin's the boss, she's in
Right
charge.
here, grip and grin, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3.
Alright, let's go one more thing he needs to read, so let's go ahead.
All right, Jose, so this is something you may want to drop off at medical and keep a copy of with yourself. This is a medical chip for your lobotomy. So remarks here, lobotomy is complete due to repeated exposure to and hazing by field grade officers who preceded the staff and the said name officer. No further procedure required. Restricted activity. Said name officer is directed to participate in overly complex planning activities and abstract discussions for the remainder of his career. Under no circumstances shall said name officer be expected to attempt simple explanations, exercise brevity, or generally simplify or shorten anything. Side effects include mumbling to oneself, drooling, and disconnect from interpersonal contact within one's command. These side effects are normal and subside, or at least are hidden to some degree as officers mature in field grade ranks. So make sure you keep a copy of that on you. Before we turn it over to Jose, I've had the pleasure of working with Jose down in Seal for a number of years since he's been here, so it's always been a pleasure. And one thing I'll say about Jose is that you're probably better off just taking his side of the issue from the very beginning, because one thing I've learned, not just your quick wit, not just how intelligent you are and the way you're able to explain things and show why you made that decision, but anytime that Jose takes a position on an issue, you can just count on the fact that he has researched it thoroughly. He's weighed the pros and cons, and when he makes a determination, that's what he wants to be. It is for a good reason. So, and he's also one of these guys that you just an infectious smile whenever you see him. You're always happier after you've left him than when you first saw him. So, Jose, congratulations again.
Thank you again, sir.
Brother.
Thank you.
I like a drooling thing. You're drooling, and you don't know why.
Did it start already? All right. So first of all, sir, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to be my promoting officer. I'd also like to thank God for without him, being my rock and being in my life, I probably wouldn't be here right now. Thank you all for joining me here today. Herb, thank you very much for always being there for me, for letting me lead the team, for being there both professionally and personally when I needed to talk to somebody. So I really appreciate all your guidance and your leadership. To my team, fortunately two of them are not here. They're down in Norfolk doing some work. But Charles, Paul, Robert, Bob, and John, I really appreciate all the things you guys have done. Your dedication to the Marine Corps, your dedication to your job, your dedication to this team. Without you, what we do, what the Muse do wouldn't be possible. You guys take the interoperability of the C14, MAGTF C4 and actually interoperate with the Muse, and I really appreciate that. The Muse are the tip of the spear. You guys are one of the stones that actually sharpens that, so I really appreciate all that you do. The Marine Corps has been my life for about 24 years now. Being able to serve with a lot of people like you help me professionally and personally, helping me lift me up and push me forward, has helped me to get to where I am today, and I really appreciate that. So Colonel Pasajian, as you all know, a lot of you know, he's a big Yankee fan, right? Loves the Yankees. So as I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, hey, who am I going to ask to promote me? So Colonel Pasajian came to mind, right? It comes to my mind. So I don't know if you ever heard him whenever the Yankees win a game there, he's out there screaming. You probably heard him down here. You probably hear him across the Potomac. And if you haven't heard him, don't worry. Opening season starts on the 29th, so you will hear him. I'm sure of it, because the Yankees are going to be cleaning house. But I also heard a rumor about Colonel Pasajian that he actually predicted the exact game and the exact inning that Aaron Boone would hit a home run. So I don't know if it was prediction or from his mouth to Aaron Boone's bat, but I figured if I'm gonna make it in the Marine Corps, I need someone rooting for me, and who better else to root for me than somebody who has that gift. And now he's kind of obligated to root for me since he just promoted me, so it's kind of obligation there, sir. So I think I'm gonna have a bright future ahead of me. You know, growing up in the Bronx in the 80s and 90s was a tough time. You always felt like you were on your own, like you were doing it by yourself. And it's a game of chance, right? A lot of my friends either went to jail or have toe tags. And just by chance, on November 13th, 1993, I was actually walking to the store to go buy a Walkman. Some of you know what it is, some of you probably don't. Version of the iPod, right? And I walked into the wrong door. And on the other side of the door was Sergeant Troy T. Cobbs. And 24 years later, with the help and mentorship of a lot of people that I served with, always looking out for me, I'm standing here getting promoted to major. So I say that to say that the Marine Corps has been my family, SysCom has been my family, and without the hard work and dedication of a lot of people that I served with, I wouldn't be here right now. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Congratulations. Come on up, please, everyone.
Yeah, I think you did. Thank you.
Hey, Louis Sixer, I didn't realize until just became a major.
Thank you.
Dude, I was late. I made it.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Great. Doc, I appreciate it. It was great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Damn it. Sir.
That's good. Send me a copy.
I'll send you a FaceTime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't be in your queue. I won't be in your queue anymore. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for 24.
Yeah, as far as I know.
So the music. So we
Thank you. And I'll put them on the list.
because they got so listen, so my brother I work really closely with that group. It was Mike Davis and Jim Dunn. This was a football guy. I want to go to chicken, right? So